What is up? Welcome to the Mixer. I'm your host, RC. Once again, solo pod. Jeff, still dealing with moving. So you got me. You got me again today. So we're gonna get right into it. We got a lot of sports on deck, and let's go. So first things first, housekeeping. Everybody's favorite part. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us at FC Wine Mixer on pretty much all the major social channels. I have switched my primary Twitter account to our at FC Wine Mixer on Twitter. So that'll be the best place to follow for content. We are also on Instagram and Facebook primarily. The Mixer channel on YouTube, you can peep right now our first product, which is on Teespring, little donos, in reference to Fernando Tatis, a throwback to Bo Jackson, the Bo Knows Nike campaign. Yeah. So, anywho, that's our first product out there. I know some of you guys have attained some, so let me know if you want the link. I'm gonna share it. I'll try to put it in the show notes if I remember. But yeah, we got colors, different sizes, different options, tank top options, that sort of thing. Very preliminary states. If you have any suggestions or different color options that you would like to see, let me know. I'm gonna be putting more stuff out there as we, as I got more time to do it. Don't forget, make our show better. Take our survey. I'm going to close it soon. The download numbers have been great. So thank you for all your support and really appreciate you guys. But let's get into the content tilts. I feel like this is going to be a tilt for a while now, but NBA Top Shot, I'm hooked and I cannot get my hands on a pack. Every time there's a drop, they say, oh, there's going to be 40K, 70K available. I queue up, I keep refreshing the website, and hours ahead, I'm in there. I get amped, I get hyped. I'm in the waiting room. I watch the timer count down, and then it's just a drum roll. I say my prayer to Sister Jean, and then I end up in like the bottom 10% of the queue. No joke. When I was in the last queue, I think it said there was 77,000 available. There were 350,000 plus in the queue, and I ended up, I think, like 330,000. And then another time, I think there were 250,000 in the queue, and I ended up like 230,000. So, not great. The simulation algorithms keeping me down. Anytime there seems to be randomization involved, does not seem to go my way. Luck has not been a factor in my life, unfortunately. But I'm just gonna, shoot or shoot. So I thought third time I joined a pack drop was gonna be the charm for the brand. Not so. Waiting on the next pack drop announcement. I have a few moments that I got overpriced in the marketplace from some bench guys. So I got a Larry Nance Jr. moment. I think he dunked on Harden, which, is something, I guess, but nothing special. Any top shotters out there, hit me up. I want to know your tips, your tricks, what you think about it. Because, yeah, I'm all in, even though you can't even make any money off of it yet because apparently you can't withdraw. But, NFTs, I just saw Fernando Tatis is going to have his own NFT. It's all about the blockchain. Who knows? Maybe this will be on the blockchain someday. I'm sure, some sociopath out there might want to make that purchase, that investment. Other tilt. I'm hoping. You know what this has done? The Top Shot. I've been waiting for something to get me more into basketball as far as players go and how to recognize them. I thought Kawhi going to the Clippers would do it. I actually got a Clipper. I got a Kawhi jersey recently, and some merch from the Clips. But yeah, I mean, Top Shot is definitely making me branch out. I'm looking up rookies, see who undervalued bench guys are, just to comb it. And I mean, everybody's probably looking up the same thing, and they're like, oh, there's this rookie, and the cheapest thing he has in the marketplace is like $500, and I'm not looking to throw that kind of coin around yet on something I don't even fully understand. So I'm just kind of looking to dabble, but it is fun. I do look forward to when the MLB and when the NFL come out with similar products, Formula One as well. I like trading cards. I was a dork for that when I was a kid. So yeah, and I think it's very early days. I feel like there could be it's not fully fleshed out how you can display these things. I mean, I'm just thinking, maybe you have like a hologram room or something, and you could play like your moments and stuff in your freaking Bitcoin mansion someday. I don't know what it's gonna be, or maybe you have. Maybe they're integrated into social platforms and you can have like your trophy case or I don't know, but anyway, I'm a nerd for this stuff. It seems pretty cool so far. It's just play money. It's nothing significant, but yeah, if you're into Top Shot, let me know. If you want to get into it, let me know. A very limited knowledge here, but I mean, it's fun. It's fun and sports related. So yeah, I'm gonna keep joining those pack drops. The website, although it doesn't work, it's pretty legit. I like the design, the packs themselves, and the moments themselves. I mean, they're flashy. I like it. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it right now. But I mean, that's what I'm tilting is just not being able to get a pack. So, I'll be stoked when I actually do get a pack. Moving on. Other tilts, okay. So, I mean, I was hoping Jeff was going to be here for this, but, being the loyal contributor that he is to our growing media network, he's going to listen back to this. So I went full send. I made the biggest investment of my life. It's an investment in us, in myself. I got the MacBook Pro. It's on order. The Best Buy salesman, luckily he has a contact. So I got a little bit of a deal on it. So thank you to him and his wife for that. Mucho appreciation there. So it helps to have friends who support you that way. But yeah, and I was looking at I ordered Final Cut Pro, which is a video editing program, and I found a YouTube video because that's how us millennials learn things now. And I went to Final Cut Pro Basics, and looking at it, I mean, I got a lot to learn. It's pretty wild what it seems like it's capable of. I am very much a noob to video editing. I'm looking forward to playing around with it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like a kid who just got his driver's license and is about to hop into like a freaking Hellcat or something. I don't know if I can handle that HP, that horsepower, too much torque. I remember I went through a breakup back when I was at a high school, and I do as any guy does when you have a breakup and I made a stupid purchase, and the stupid purchase was a Honda CR250, a two-stroke Honda A lot of power. I mean, these are the guys that race in the Supercross. This is what they ride. Obviously, I mean, this is like, the showroom version, so it's not the racetrack version, but I mean, it is built for the racetrack, if that makes any sense. And I rode it once in my driveway / front yard. Dad, I hope you're not listening. But I fired it up, threw it, popped it into gear, and rode it through the lawn, and it just had a lot of torque. I mean, I had a 2-stroke Yamaha that I had ridden when I was 16, 17, maybe even up until I was 18, and then I took a few years off, but that bike was like 10 years old at the time, so it didn't quite have the power that this one, and it was a 125. And so, it didn't quite have the pop that this one did. And anyway, so I got to make a turn in my front yard, and it started to stall, so I gave it a little bit of gas, and it just like snapped out in front of me, and I kind of wheelied into our trash can, and I knocked our trash can over, and then went out into the street. Like, I had no control. I mean, I was like on the back. It could have went really bad. It could have been, I mean, any YouTube video where somebody just lands on their ass. But I mean, I held on. I got it in the yard, and I just shut it off, and I was just terrified. I was like, man, what did I get myself into? I cannot, I can't control this thing. But I mean, I just didn't think it through, and riding and on the grass, the different surface, new tires had more grab. I wasn't used to the clutch. I mean, there was just a lot of stuff working against me. I didn't have my gear on. So anyway, I actually ended up never taking it out. I financed it, lost all kinds of money financing it, just paying like 30% interest or something because the freaking Motor World salesman looped me into that. But yeah, that's how that went. Hopefully I'm not doing the same thing with Final Cut Pro here, and I can utilize the options that it has. That software is definitely a much lower investment, and I'll definitely get much more use out of it than a $6,000 motorcycle that I got as a 20-year-old that I never rode. Besides the time I almost killed myself in my front yard. So yeah, but I mean, gotta admit, watching that first YouTube video, I was getting a little flashback, a little PTSD to that moment riding my CR250 in the yard. How come I keep sounding like a bro on this when I'm by myself? I think this is the second time I've brought up the Supercross in recent shows. So let's move on. Third tilt for the brand. Stadium's final days. The light towers are coming down. It's sad. So if you missed that episode, we had a special episode where we recapped our favorite memories from the stadium. Go back and give that a listen. Share that one around. It's gotten some extra downloads. It's an evergreen episode. But yeah, and feel free to share your memories that you may have. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the the new build going on there. All right, let's get into the weekly coverage here of what's going on in the sports world. NCAA Tourney, week 2. I mean, sports are back. I mean, they've been back, and there's still no fans at the tournament. Last year, this time, coronavirus shut down. We launched our pod basically when coronavirus shut everything down, and I was able to start working from home. Had a little bit more free time to do this sort of thing without having to travel back and forth to the office 2 hours a day. Anywho, but yeah, the tournament being shut down, SDSU being robbed of a 1 or 2 seed last season, really stung, and the tournament was back this year. We had a full slate on last Friday, the first set of games, and then Saturday, Sunday, and then into Monday. A little change in the calendar this year. It used to be Thursday, Friday game. The first games, and then Saturday, Sunday, the second games. But yeah, I mean, it just felt great having so many games back to back, and seeing kids crying in the stands after their team loses on a buzzer beater. I mean, nothing makes you feel more like a return to normal than that. So some highlights of the tournament so far. Loyola Chicago, Sister Jean making a big comeback. PFT PFT commenter, Barstool Sports, throwing out there the freaking Galaxy Brain assessment that Sister Jean is actually a witch. Supposedly she prays before every game, but they have her with a scarf that looks very much like something from Harry Potter. I'm not a pothead, so I don't know exactly Harry Potter lore, but supposedly they got some magic stuff going on. So, I don't know what kind of string she's pulling. We're not conspiracy theorists, but we do connect dots, and don't know what Sister Jean's up to. They beat Illinois, right? They knocked out one of my Final Four teams, so that hurt. They're the only one seed to go down. The Big Ten is having it rough. The Pac-12, West Coast teams are doing pretty well. That's been a strategy of mine, is to just fade the West Coast teams. When I first started picking brackets, I would always go with the West Coast teams, and I did really poorly. And I was like, let's switch this up, and switched it up. Started to do really well. That's kind of backfired, but somehow still doing well. I think I'm second in my bracket tournament. Need Houston to lose in order for it to work out for me. Get that next Infinity Stone. Guys in my fantasy football league know what I'm talking about. Thanos is coming for that. So, you guys better be hoping Houston keeps rolling. But yeah, I mean, the Pac-12 is doing well. Oregon State, USC, UCLA. I'm missing a school. I think there are 5 left. But yeah, it's been good to see what they've been able to do. SDSU, they get bounced in the first game against Syracuse. Everybody knew, Jim Boeheim, right? I always get thrown off by him because his name is spelled very differently from the way it's pronounced. So I always hesitate on that. But yeah, the zone defense, I mean, what can you do? They faced him on the carrier. It gave him problems all those years ago. They came out. His son was shooting lights out. He had something like 19 of the first 21 points for Syracuse. He was draining threes. SDSU looked good at first, but they got frustrated and they just fell behind kind of in the middle of the first half there, and they just dug themselves too big of a hole. There were talks about the coach Brian Dutcher going to Minnesota, I believe, because their coach is retiring or leaving, and Dutcher had Minnesota ties. He has said that he's going to stay. He's been there for, I think he said 12 years. He's been there for a long time. I mean, it's his home. He has no intention of going someplace else. So it's awesome to get that commitment from him. He's obviously carrying on what Steve Fisher was able to do so far. There was, I had some big reservations once Fisher was gone about Dutcher taking over, if he was going to be able to be the guy after being the guy and waiting for so long. But it seems like he actually had a big hand in those Fisher years as well to growing the team. So the main thing that I think is hurting the Aztecs is the conference that they play in. The Mountain West. Um, I mean, I do love what's not the charm, I suppose, of the Mountain West. First off, I mean, the floor at UNLV during the Mountain West Conference is fire with the mountains. I remember one year it was sponsored by Reese's. I see some of the Capital J's complain about it on Twitter every year during the tournament, but it's a personal favorite of mine. I love it. I want to go to that tournament someday. However, the Mountain West is holding SDSU back. Utah State has been the best school there the past 2 years, and they've been okay. UNLV isn't the school that it used to be. In the early teens, early tens. I mean, what are we calling this decade? That last decade, the tens. New Mexico was pretty good. UNLV was pretty good. Colorado State was pretty good. But, it seemed like Boise was going to step up there for a little bit. Utah State got moved to the Mountain West. And they've been okay. But, I mean, BYU and Utah, those are the schools that got too big for the Mountain West and left. Like, when a school like Utah gets too big for the Mountain West and leaves, it's time. I mean, at this point, SDSU is the one propping up the Mountain West. And I mean, there's a saying in real estate, you don't want to buy the most expensive house on the block because it's your house that's propping up the rest of the neighborhood. You want to buy a house that's, maybe even, I wouldn't say below the median in the neighborhood, but you don't want to buy the most expensive house because there's just not much incentive for you. Your house is going to be devalued by the houses around you instead of being propped up the other way. So, being as good as they were this year, it's hard for them to schedule these out of conference games. And when they do, they're early in the season and then they play a bunch of conference games. They go on these late runs in the season where they have, 10 consecutive wins, but they're like, well, who did they play? They played Fresno State twice. They beat Colorado. They beat Boise, UNLV, but it just doesn't matter. New Mexico is just terrible this year. So with the center of the San Diego sports environment changing, it's to the Padres right now, but also in a way to the Aztecs. That they're going to in order to make that program work, they're going to have to be more big time. That we're building a new stadium for the football team. Viejas Arena looks to be like it's going to be there for a while. It's relatively modern, but if this is going to be a program on the level like Gonzaga is, where year after year they're a top 10 team, you got to play against better competition. I don't know how Gonzaga does it because their conference isn't that big either, but yeah, I mean, having to travel to Wyoming every year, having to travel to Colorado State, it's just not going to do it, and it makes it really tough for recruiting. I mean, the thing that makes the most sense would be for them to join the Pac-12 or make a real push to, but the people in power at the Pac-12 don't want SDSU dipping into their recruiting pool because you have USC, UCLA, the Arizona schools, even Oregon. So, San Diego's stuck in a tough spot. They already don't do the greatest job recruiting. I just kind of want to get on this early, but they really need to do something because I'm tired of seeing them flame out in the first weekend of the tournament. They haven't gotten past the Sweet 16 ever, despite high rankings. So, it's great to win 20 games every season, but when your best wins each year are on the road against Utah State, we can do better. That's not gonna. The show's already kind of dwindling because of that, and the fervor around the team. The kind of the novelty of SDSU basketball has worn off since its peak. I just want to see more. It's the only team that I've ever had a season tickets for, and I have deep connections with that team, and just I want to see more out of them. So, on top of the NCAA tournament, we got baseball season on deck. This time next week, we will have kicked off the MLB season. I believe April 1st is opening day. Padres had a little bit of a scare with Tatis in his shoulder. Apparently it's all right, but I'm super nervous. I don't know about you guys. They said it's a known issue that he's been dealing with for a while. Like, what's that known issue? Is that known issue? Oh, his shoulder comes out of socket sometimes. He's just a slight dislocation that he gets every now and then. It's like, oh yeah, that's what you want to hear about, your 20, what is he, 22-year-old guy that you just signed to a 14-year, $340 million deal. They're not saying that, but the Padres have, kept things under wraps a lot with their injuries. So, they let Clevenger go out there in the playoffs, and then he needed Tommy John right after that. So, I think there's a healthy skepticism among the Padre fan base. But yeah, prayers up for Tatis. Put him in Saran wrap, and let's get through this season because we want to see Fernando, because he knows out there doing his thing. And by the way, there's no more first world problem than Padres season ticket holders complaining about where they're being assigned seats because of social distancing rules. Come on, guys, we can do better. NFL free agency wrapped up. Well, I guess it's still going on, but it's wrapping up. The big names have signed. Okay, verbal meme. So it's the kids in the car meme. Mom, can we get 2021 NFL free agency? And the vision 2021 NFL free agency is the ideal is like Jimmy G to the Patriots. You got Will Fuller to the Packers. Kenny Golloday to the Seahawks. Russell Wilson to the Bears, and Deshaun Watson to the moon. Everybody, Juju Smith-Schuster to the Chiefs. And then mom says, no, we have 2021 NFL free agency at home. And then the 2021 NFL free agency at home is Marvin Jones to the Jaguars, Ryan Fitzpatrick to the Washington football team, Will Fuller to the Dolphins, literally all the freaking scrap heap players to the Texans, Juju staying on the Steelers, and New England getting 2 tight ends. Not stoked about this NFL free agency. I was really excited heading into it with all the potential movement around, but it just didn't work out. The best signing was Stafford to the Rams, I suppose. Marvin Jones to the Jaguars, with Trevor Lawrence there, deep threat, I guess. Golloday to the Giants, okay. Maybe that does something for Daniel Jones. They got a pretty good passing core there, or receiving core there. we'll see what they do with it. They got Saquon there. They got Golloday now, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. Who's their other wide receiver? I'm totally spacing on his name. I have him on my dynasty team too. Anywho, he's good. And if Fitzpatrick to the Washington football team, like that's exciting. Andy Dalton to the Bears, like this is supposed to be exciting. Man. Maybe next year. The salary cap was significantly reduced because of, I think it's based on the NFL earnings, and with 2020 being a COVID season, the earnings, were only in the, I mean, I'm joking, but in the tens of billions instead of the hundreds of billions. So, gotta tighten the belt. You can't get crazy on spending. I mean, just got like a $100 billion media deal with ESPN and ABC, right? And Amazon. Thursday Night Football is going to be Prime only. Can't be throwing more than 15 million to Will Fuller. No way. So disappointed about NFL free agency. Maybe next year. Some of these quarterbacks are on 1-year deals, like Cam, so that, well, maybe somebody recently told me look at NFL contracts. Every contract is 2 years, so they might be 4 to 5 years, but basically after 2 years they can cut them and not take that big of a cap hit. So, yeah, maybe next year. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe people get traded. That's not gonna happen. Yeah. So I mean, that's the NFL wrap up. The next thing it's kicking off this week. It is race week. Formula One season starts this weekend in Bahrain, the site of Roman Grosjean's crash. It's race week, so big changes, new drivers in new places. Sebastian Vettel on Aston Martin, the rebranded pink Mercedes from last season. Believe it's still Mercedes powered, but under new sponsorship from Aston Martin. You have Hamilton and Bottas returning for Mercedes at the top. You have Sergio Perez moving into the second Red Bull seat with Max Verstappen. You have Carlos Sainz taking Vettel's spot at Ferrari alongside Charles Leclerc. This isn't doing anything for those who are not Formula One fans. If you are not, there is an objectively great show on Netflix called Drive to Survive. Season 3 debuted on last Friday. Really good. Maybe Jeff and I will talk about it. I was hoping to get into it with him today, but since he's not here, I think we'll save that for next week. It was interesting that Hamilton, right at the start, I mean, it was supposed to be the first race last season when the coronavirus outbreak started. I mean, they have it on camera when it was Daniel Ricciardo just on his phone, and they were in Australia, and he's just getting ready. I mean, I think it was before any of the practice sessions, and he was in the lead up to the race, and he said, "Oh, the NBA just canceled their season." And after that moment, everybody was wearing masks. A reporter asked Hamilton why he thought the race was going on, and he said, "Well, obviously it's because cash is king. If it weren't for the money aspect of this, we wouldn't be here." And then the next day they canceled the start of the Formula One season. And it was just wild seeing how that unfolded in the racing world. And the rest of the season, it's very entertaining. There are a lot of personalities. Ferrari got kind of dragged through the mud, but I think I'm going to save that to talk with Jeff about. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something to watch on Netflix, you could do much worse than Netflix Drive to Survive. It really is great television. All right,
That's gonna do it for today. Episode 43. I think I'm gonna ditch the season aspect, and we're just gonna roll with the ongoing count of our episodes. So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Time for some PF Changs. Till next week, I'm RC. Later, guys.